po.
Welcome to FSH Hub Research University, your ultimate guide on your next research project.
We will lay down the best practices in research ideation, literature review.
Welcome to FSH Hub Research University, your ultimate guide on your next research project.
We will lay down the best practices in research ideation, literature review, experimental design, and data analysis to guide you as you carry out your research project. Learn from the FSH Hub team of research scientists and some invited subject matter experts. FSH Hub Research University will be your personal coach through every stage of your research project, from ideation to final assessment.
And the best part, it's absolutely free.
Visit us at philscihub.com and be part of this learning journey.
Let's learn and succeed together here at FSH Hub Research University. Welcome to FSH Hub Research University, your ultimate guide on your next research project.
We will lay down the best practices in research ideation, literature review, experimental design, and data analysis to guide you as you carry out your research project. Learn from the FSH Hub team of research scientists and some invited subject matter experts. FSH Hub Research University will be your personal coach through every stage of your research project, from ideation to final assessment.
And the best part, it's absolutely free.
Visit us at philscihub.com and be part of this learning journey.
Let's learn and succeed together here at FSH Hub Research University.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Welcome to the Filipino Science Hub. Thank you for your continued support to this online platform. To our new participants, thank you for checking us out today, and we would like to officially welcome you to the FSH Hub family. So bago po tayo magsimula, I would like to share some house rules in order to facilitate a smooth session for everyone. For our Zoom participants, we would appreciate it if you could turn your audio and video cameras off during the webinar. If you have questions or comments, feel free to type them on our Zoom chat box or YouTube live comments, and we will try to accommodate as much questions and comments as possible. After the talk, we will have a 30-minute Q&A where the Zoom participants will have the opportunity to ask their questions live. We would also like to request for everyone to not record the webinar. The full video of the session will be posted on our official YouTube channel. For those who would like to receive a certificate of participation, a Google form link will be posted on our Zoom chat box, YouTube live comments, and YouTube video description towards the end of the webinar. Please make sure that you enter the correct information, especially your email address, to ensure receipt of the certificate. Also, for you to obtain the certificate, you will need to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow our page on Facebook. Please note that we receive hundreds of requests and it takes around 7 days or so to process all the certificates. If you do not receive your certificate after a week, please feel free to send us a message on Facebook or email us at philscihub@gmail.com. So again, welcome po sa FSH Hub. Welcome to all our Zoom participants and our YouTube Live viewers. For those who are new and may not be familiar with who we are and what we do, allow me to share our mission and vision in the next few minutes. Filipino Science Hub is an online platform founded by our CEO, Filipino scientist Dr. Jeffrey Camacho Bungkin, back in 2012. Currently, we are a registered nonprofit organization based in Houston, Texas, United States. Our mission is to promote STEM education and the culture of research among students and teachers in the Philippines and abroad. Our current global leadership team is comprised of volunteer Filipino scientists and seasoned STEM educators from different parts of the world. Our vision is to see a technology and innovation-driven Philippines, and we believe that this can be achieved by creating a new generation of well-rounded Filipino STEM enthusiasts. This vision is being carried out via our two major programs, the PhilSci Hub Ed program and PhilSci Hub Research University. Through PhilSci Hub Ed, we are able to empower and support our teachers when it comes to strengthening STEM fundamentals education. We believe that this is important because the more equipped our STEM educators are, the more they can inspire our students to pursue a career in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Through this program, we have been able to serve our teachers by creating STEM teaching modules as well as conducting teachers training webinars, all of which are accessible on our website for free. So we have also been able to collaborate with major educational organizations that have the same goals and advocacies as Filipino Science Hub. Through these partnerships, we have been able to further expand our reach and help more students and teachers, especially during the time of pandemic. So together, everybody achieves more. The other major program that drives our vision forward is PhilSci Hub Research University. We believe that in order to strengthen a STEM culture, students also need to be able to learn how to conduct a scientific research. As we know, many scientific and technological breakthroughs happened through research, and we would like to equip our younger generation by providing them proper scientific research training. So ika nga po, start them young. Here at PhilSci Hub Research University, we provide free courses on fundamentals of scientific research, such as research ideation, literature review, how to write a research proposal, how to communicate your research work to the scientific community, among other courses. Through this program, we are also able to bring practicing scientists closer to the STEM educational sector. So because of this closer contact, our students become more aware of the possible STEM career paths available for them and how these careers contribute to the advancement of the society around them. So up to date, we have been able to reach over 70,000 students and teachers all over the world. And we know that this will continue to grow in the years to come. And this is why we are all very excited on what is in store here at PhilSci Hub. Our official website is www.philscihub.com. This is where you can access all our materials such as webinars, tutorials, modules, virtual lab, and special features. We are also present in several social media platforms such as Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. So follow us wherever you're most active on to get updated with our web events. So again, thank you for being with us this morning. And to officially start our webinar, I would like to turn the virtual floor over to our host for today. Ayan, back to me. I'm the host for today. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Welcome again to another webinar. And today po, we have Dr. Yvonne Musico to discuss nanotechnology and some of its applications. So bago po tayo magsimula, I would like to introduce our speaker for this morning. So Dr. Yvonne is from the Technological Institute of the Philippines, and she's currently an associate professor in the engineering department. So she got her degree, PhD degree in environmental engineering from the University of the Philippines. And she was a visiting research scholar at the University of Houston. Doon ko po siya nakilala back in 2014. And she got her master's in chemical engineering from University of the Philippines and bachelor's in chemical engineering from Far Eastern University. So after getting her PhD, she went to University of California, Merced, for her postdoctoral research work. So prior to that po, she was an instructor at St. Thomas de Villanova Institute, and she was a research engineer at National Engineering Center at UP Diliman. So her research work po was entitled Functionalized Graphene-Based Nanomaterials for the removal of lead to and bacteria for water and wastewater treatment applications. So it's my honor to introduce po Dr. Yvonne. And without further ado, I turn the virtual floor over to Dr. Musico. So Ate Yvonne, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Boss. Now, so let me share first my review. Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone, and good morning first to our CEO, Dr. Jeffrey Bunkin, and to the hardworking staff and members of the organizers of this PhilSci Hub, especially Dr. Lindy Wells and the rest of the members of the organization and all the organizers also. So what I'm talking about today is about nanotechnology and some of its applications. We will just talk the basic about the nanotechnology. So when you think of small things, you think of anything that we can see in a microscope, in school, or we even think of smaller than that. We think of atoms and molecules. And you are really going down to what we call the nanoscale of the material. So the fundamental components of matter, and we are putting them in what we call the useful or beneficial ways. And that's where the nanotechnology is. So nanotechnology is the science and engineering and technology conducted at a nanoscale, which is about 1 to 100 nanometers. Nanoscience and nanotechnology are the study and application of these extremely small things that can be used across all other sciences, such as chemistry, biology, physics, material science, and engineering. We will be able to create many new materials and devices with a vast range of applications, such as in medicine, electronics, biomaterials, and energy production. But just how small is the nano, or just how small the things that we are dealing with in nanotechnology? So it is hard to imagine how small nanotechnology is. 1 nanometer is actually a billionth of a meter. That is 10 to the negative 9 of a meter. No? So let us have an illustrative example of the comparison of the different scale of the measurement in nano with other scale in measurement of, for example, meters. So human has an average height of 1.8 meters, whether it's a female or male. So that is those are the dimensions that we can see by our naked eyes. Ayan. And the bees that we can see are within the centimeter range of dimensions, and that is the bee has an average of 2.5 centimeters in length of that insect. while the mites have 300 microns, and our red blood cells no, has 6 microns or 6 micrometers. So for those materials that we are encountering in nanotechnology, are those materials like, for example, you have the human papilloma virus or HPV, which has a dimension of 50 nanometers, the Intel transistor, which has 40 nanometers, and the carbon nanotube, which has 2 nanometers in dimension. And also, we have this silicon atom, no, which has 0.24 nanometers that we can see in, that are actually can be found in the integrated circuit. So, on a comparative scale, if we are going to have like analogy, you know, in a sense that we can see matter, you know, on a comparative scale, if we consider, for example, marble or yung tinatawag nating Holland or Jolens sa iba, no, as a nanometer, for example, nanometer yan, then 1 meter would be the size of the Earth. So ganun po kaliit yung pinag-uusapan nating bagay sa pag-aaral ng nanotechnology. Ayan. Sorry about that. Something wrong with mine. Next. So when was the nanotechnology started and then the modern nanotechnology started? Actually, the idea and concept behind nanoscience and nanotechnology started with the talk that entitled "There's Plenty of Room at the Bottom" by the physicist named Richard Feynman, which is considered as the father of the nanotechnology at the American Physical Society meeting at Caltech, or the California Institute of Technology, on December 29, 1959. That was long before the term nanotechnology was used. In his talk, Feynman described a process in which scientists would be able to manipulate and control individual atoms and in a very small manner, or matter in a very small matter in a molecular and atomic level. So over a decade later, in his exploration of the ultra precision machining, Professor Norio Taniguchi coined the term nanotechnology in 1974. So it wasn't until 1981, no, with the development of the scanning paneling microscope, that could see the individual atoms. So doon pa lang. And during that time, though, the term modern nanotechnology was born, no? Ayan. But what is so special about nanoscale? Bakit maraming nagkaka-interest sa nanotechnology? Ano bang something special at that level, no, of dimension, the nanoscale? First one is, this is the scale at which the quantum effects dominate the properties of the materials. Let me explain further. So when a particle of solid matter is in a visible scale, no, that can be seen by a regular microscope, there is a little difference in the properties of the particle when you can see it by the naked eye and when you see it using the microscope. But when the particles are created with the dimension of 1 to 100 nanometers, where this particle can only be seen by sophisticated and specialized powerful microscope, no, the material properties change significantly from those of the larger scales. So this is the size, no, where the so-called quantum effects rule the behavior and properties of the particles. So properties of materials are size dependent in this nanoscale, no? Thus, when the particle size is made to be nanoscale, properties such as melting point, fluorescence, electrical conductivity, magnetic permeability, and chemical reactivity changes as a function of size of the particle. So that is what we call the quantum effect. Say, for example, the gold that we can see by our naked eyes, no, we are familiar with the gold at level that can be seen by our naked as yellow color. But when the gold is in nanoparticles, nanogold can appear as red or purple. So at that nanoscale, no, the motion of the gold electrons is actually confined. And because of this restricted movement, no, gold nanoparticles react differently with light. So compared to the large scales of the gold particles that can be seen by our naked eyes, and their size and optical properties can be put into practical use. So these nano gold particles can selectively accumulate in tumors where they can enable for the precise imaging of and target the tumor for destruction, no? By means and by that, no, we can avoid harming the healthy cells. So that is one of the what we call quantum effect. Another fascinating and powerful result of quantum effect is at that level, the materials can be tunable on its property. That is tunability. No, kaya mong i-tune base sa kanyang desired properties for certain applications. So that is, by changing the size of the particle, the scientists can literally fine-tune the material properties. Example, changing the fluorescence color, so that in turn, the fluorescence color of a particle can be used to identify that particle, and that various materials can be labeled with the different fluorescent markers for the different various purposes. So another one is the use of in that nanoscale, no, in that nano level, the quantum effect is very evident for tunneling. Kaya nga po yung tunneling microscope ay mas maganda yung kanyang, kumbaga, mas define yung kanyang images na binibigay dahil at that level, talagang napapaganda yung definition ng response, no, na binibigay na image ng tunneling microscope. And that enables the tunneling microscope and plus memory for the computing to have a better response. Okay. Another special thing about the nanoscale is at that scale, no, much of the biology occurs. Over millions of years, nature has been perfected, and the art of biology in a nanoscale. Like many of the inner workings of the cell naturally occur in a nanoscale. For example, we have hemoglobin, no? The protein that carries oxygen through the body has a size of 5.5 nanometers, no, in diameter. The strand of the DNA, one of the building blocks of human life, is only 2 nanometers in diameter. So drawing that natural nanoscale of biology, many medical researchers are working on designing tools, treatments, and also therapies that are more precise and personalized than the conventional ones. Ayan, so maraming applications na pwede kong i-expound later on. Another thing or special about studying in nanoscale is that this scale is the nanoscale is the scale at which the surface and interface play a large role in material properties and interaction. So nanomaterials have larger surface areas that have similar to the larger scale materials, no? At the surface, pag sinabi natin surface area, so this is yung yung kumbaga kung meron kang cube, meron siyang area ng bawat faces niya, no, na 6, no? So as the surface area per mass of the material increases, there's a greater ability of that material to come in contact with the surrounding materials. Thus, it also affects the reactivity. So maraming site of reaction. So let me give you an example with this figure. No? Say for example, you have a solid tube that has a 6 per centimeters. No? This is 1 by 1 by 1. So this surface area of this first figure is 1 cubic centimeter. Now, what if we are going to cut the same volume of cube into smaller cubes, which has a size of 1 millimeter per side, no? So the surface area will become 10 by 10 by 10, or we should have a totality of 1,000 in millimeters, no? Kasi centimeter yan, no? In meters, you will have 1,000 millimeters size cube. Furthermore, kung yung maliliit na cube na pa yon ay ikakat mo uli, no? Mas maraming surface area na pwedeng umabot ng 60 square centimeters na katumbas given of the same material volume. So yung ganun yung kinaganda sa nanoscale, no? So, for example, let me give you a practical example, cheese na lang, no? Pag bumibili tayo ng cheese, malaki yun. So, meron siyang, it's either cubical or rectangular na no? So, makikita natin na meron siyang 6 sides, no? So, yung 6 sides na yun, may mga kanya-kanyang surface area. What if ihatiin uli natin ito sa mas maliliit na cubes? So, mas maraming, kumbaga, ma-expose na sites yung dating nasa loob, ma-expose uli for a certain reaction. So, one benefit of having greater surface area and is the improvement of the reactivity. So, in a nanostructured materials, they can help to have better catalyst. Catalyst is where the reaction occurs, no? Na ito yung mga chemicals na nag-speed up ng chemical reactions. And based on the study, no, 1/3 of the United States and global manufacturing of catalysts affects billions of dollars for the revenue in, for example, chemical and oil industries due to this nanostructured material and due to the surface area, no, that can be offered, more surface areas that can be offered by the nanomaterials, no. Ayan. Example of this is we have the catalytic converter, no. Yung catalytic converter, alam naman natin na hindi lahat ng fuels sa sasakyan na ginagamit natin, for example, ay 100% na nako-convert into mechanical and electrical energies, no? At hindi ito ay completely burned. Kasi dahil nga sa minsan in the absence of oxygen, no, nagkakaroon tayo ng byproduct na carbon monoxide, which is poisonous. So, para mas mataas yung conversion ng fuels into carbon dioxide and water, that is actually the what we call the combustion, no? Combustion reaction, para mas mataas. So, we use the catalytic converters. Kasi ito po yung talaga yung tinitingnan sa mga sa testing, no, ng combustion kung gaano karami yung carbon monoxide na produce. The less carbon monoxide, of course, mas efficient yung yung conversion ng machine mo ng fuels mo into the actual product of combustion, which should be carbon dioxide and water. Ayan. Nano-engineered batteries also and also fuel cells and catalysts can be potentially enhanced by by taking advantage of the larger surface areas of these nanomaterials. So, yun ang tatlong masasabi nating something special about doing things in a nanoscale. So there are two approaches of that we use in nanofabrication. One of them is the bottom-up synthesis method. The bottom-up synthesis method implies that that the nanostructure are synthesized onto the substrate by stacking atoms onto each other, which gives rise to a crystal planes. And then these crystal planes further stack onto each other, resulting on the synthesis of the nanostructures. So yun yung bottom-up synthesis natin. The other way, so this is the one that is commonly used in the manufacturing. The other way is that we have the top-down synthesis. The top-down synthesis implies that the nanostructures are synthesized by etching out crystal planes or by removing the crystal planes which are already present in the substrate. So this top-down approach can be viewed as the approach where the building blocks are removed from the substrate to form the nanostructure. So yan. What are the applications of nanotechnology? Actually, there are several applications of nanotechnology depending on your field of interest. So I will just mention some, but not limited to this. So we have here in our figure, we have the energy, medicine, drugs, and science. We have the biotechnology. We have nano devices. We have also yung optical engineering. We have the bioengineering, cosmetics, and nanofabrics. So let us have examples or discuss this one by one. Ayan. So nanotechnology is finding application in different ways. So we have traditional energy sources that are being greatly enhanced using alternative energy approaches so that it will help our problem in the increasing energy demand. So many scientists are already looking into the ways on how to develop affordable and renewable energy resources, such as what we are going to tackle. So this is the aim for this is this has to reduce the consumption of energy and lessen the toxicity and burden to the environment. So there are many interesting ways that the energy is generated. Example, we have from steam of sunlight. Ayan. So researchers have demonstrated that sunlight concentrated on nanoparticles can produce steam with high energy efficiency. So the solar steam device is intended and used in these areas, particularly sa mga developing countries that walang gaanong kuryente, at ginagamit din ito for purifying water. And the effectiveness of the solar steam device is even continued with high efficiency light bulbs, electricity generated from windmills, generating electricity from waste heat, and so on. Ayan. Nanotechnology can also be incorporated into the solar panels, to convert sunlight to electricity more efficiently. And this is a promising and inexpensive solar power in the future. So these nanostructured solar cells can be cheaper to manufacture and easier to install, since they can actually use print-like manufacturing processes and can be made in flexible rolls rather than having a discrete panel. So newer researchers suggest that future solar converters might be even paintable in the future. Still under the energy, nanotechnology is improving the efficiency of fuel production from raw petroleum materials through better catalysis. So this is also taking advantage of the higher surface areas of the catalyst for more sites of reactions. It is used to enable reduced fuel consumption in vehicles and power plants and through higher efficiency of combustion, and also for the decrease of the friction in the process. Researchers are also developing wires containing carbon nanotubes that will have much lower resistance than high tension wires that is currently used in the electric grids. Thus, in using this it reduces the power transmission loss. Still under the energy, nanotechnology also is already being used to develop many new kinds of batteries that are quicker charging, more efficient, and lighter weight. They have higher power density and can hold electric car charge longer. Ayan. Still in the area of energy harvesting, researchers are developing thin film solar electric panels that can be fitted onto computer cases and flexible piezoelectric nanowires woven into clothing to generate usable energy on the go from light, friction, and or heat for the power mobile electronic devices. So meron tayong mga ibang researchers na nababasa na merong mga damit na with kumbaga ini-integrate mo yung mga nano materials such as graphene, automatic siya nag-a-adjust yung temperature sa kung ano yung nasa-sense sa environment. Kung mainit, ang pakiramdam, so nag-a-adjust yung temperature ayon sa mas komportableng temperature sa katawan. At marami pang iba, So yung mga ganun. Similarly, various nanoscale or nanoscience-based options are being pursued, like for example, convert waste in computers, automobiles, homes, power plants into a usable electrical energy. Yung mga ganun. And these thin film membranes with nanopores are also energy efficient and desalination. Ayan. Nanoparticles are also being developed to clean industrial water pollutants in groundwater through chemical reactions that render the pollutant harmless, like what I have done at the University of Houston, where I use graphene, one of the nano materials that is well researched right now, together with carbon nanotubes, for several applications. For my applications, I use that for the wastewater and water treatment, particularly for the removal of heavy metals such as lead, chromium, yung mga ganun, we use this as nano adsorbent with much of the surface area that can react with the metals that can attract metals. So kumbaga, yung mga heavy metals na poisonous even at a trace level sa mga wastewater ay nag-a-absorb. Yung nag-a-absorb, ibig sabihin, nandun na siya sa surface ng adsorbent, no? Iba yung absorption sa adsorption, no? Yung absorption kasi nagpe-penetrate siya sa isang porous na absorbent. Pero yung adsorbent, ito ay yung mga waste or yung mga, for example, heavy metals, nag-a-attach lang siya sa surface ng nanoparticles. At nakita natin kung gaano yung itinaas ng removal ng heavy metals sa environment. So, ginawa rin namin itong nanocomposite para mas yung mga dumidikit na mga nanoparticles ay kumbaga ay magkaroon din ng parang space in between. So nilalagyan namin ng mga polymers, no, para mas maraming surface ang ma-expose for the absorption of the heavy metals. Sa bacteria naman, dahil nga yung surface ng graphene, no, base sa aking study, we have the gram-positive and the gram-negative bacteria na example namin. We have the Bacillus subtilis at saka yung E. coli ang ginamit namin. No? Nakita namin dahil sa edge ng nanoparticles namin, so na wawala yung integrity ng mga bacteria or nasisira yung integrity ng bacteria at nadi-deactivate ng nanomaterials. Ayan po yung at yung isa sa mga applications sa environment, no, ng environmental remediation. So nandun po yung focus ko, no, hindi po ako sa electronics. And then yun, nanoparticles are also being developed to clean industrial water pollutants. Ayun, na isa na nga yun. Another one is we have the environmental applications, or remediation is we have the yung fabric paper towel, no, woven from tiny wires of potassium manganese oxide that can absorb 20 times its weight in oil for the cleanup applications. Researchers have also placed magnetic water repellent nanoparticles in oil spills and used magnets to mechanically remove all the oils from water. So yun yung ibang applications ng environmental remediation. Sensors nanotechnology has also enabled sensors and solutions that are now able to detect and identify chemicals of biological agents with air and soil with much higher sensitivity than before. So researchers are investigating particles such as self-assembled monolayers or on mesoporous support, no, and carbon nanotubes for their unique applications for chemical and physical applications or treatment of waste. No. So sa NASA din, no, they have been another sensors that as extension of smartphones that are used by firefighters so that they can monitor the air quality around the fires kung merong mga toxic chemicals. Ayan, so dalawa na. No? For food naman, nanotechnology will provide new ways of the controlling and structuring food with greater functionality and value. So nanotechnology is having an impact on several aspects of food science for how the food is grown and how to pack the food. No, companies are also using nanomaterials that will make a difference not only in the taste of the food, but also in the food safety and also the health benefits. So nanoparticles are very effectively used to selectively bind and remove the chemicals or the pathogens from the food. So yung mga cancer-causing elements or chemicals na meron tayo sa ating food. Textile. Ito yung magandang applications sa ngayon kasi alam nyo, napapansin natin isa sa mga problema na dala ng pandemic ay yung ulit-ulit tayong nagtatapon ng mga disposable mask. So, para maiwasan natin to, so we're looking for the washable mask and yung mga mask made of textile. No? So, ayun. Sa mga textile, the properties of the materials are being changed, no, by manufacturers who are adding the nano size of components to conventional materials to improve the performance. Like for example, textiles that are water and stain repellent. No, itong idea na to ay nanggaling sa observation kung paano yung gabi, no, nagre-repel ng water molecule. No. There are also yung mga bulletproof jackets na integrate natin yung mga nanoparticles. At dito rin ay may mga sensors din na ilalagay na na-detect nila kung merong danger na papalapit. Ayan, so adding these nano-sized components to the conventional clothing revolutionized the textile industry. Ayan. And we have also fabrics that are still under resistance and antimicrobial. So one of the researches that we are doing right now is the self-cleaning cloth, no, but we are still in the process, no, na automatic siya, antibacterial na pag may exposure sa sun, no, yung photocatalytic ng nanomaterials na inad namin sa cloth or incorporate namin sa cloth ay ma-activate para hindi ka nalaban ng laban, no, kasi pag laban ng laba ka, kailangan mo pang magsabon, another wastewater, no, or added to environmental problems, no. So yung mga ganong researches ngayon, marami pa nang ginalagyan natin ng mga silver nanoparticle, no, na may photocatalytic activity, or ano pa ba yung mga titanium, no, mga titanium na pag at may certain ultraviolet na wavelength na kung saan na-activate yung kanilang reaction, na kung saan sila ay nagiging antibacterial kapag natatamaan ng sikat ng araw, no. Ayun. Sa agriculture naman, nanotechnology has the potential to bring about drastic changes in agricultural industry, no. The development of new nanotech, yung mga nanotech-based tools that will increase the efficiency of overcoming challenges faced by the agricultural industry. So, the agricultural sector will benefit greatly from these nanotech-based tools. So, meron yung mga marami pag may mga mapapanood ka rin na mga applications na yung paggamit ng mga lasers, no, para at mga nanoparticles para natatarget talaga yung pangangailangan ng isang halaman, for example, para maayos yung yung magandang growth ng isang halaman. Cosmetics, ayan. Nowadays, nanotechnology is frequently used in many cosmetic products such as moisturizers, hair care products, makeup and sunscreen. So the two main primary uses of nanotechnology in this cosmetic is yung pag UV filters, no? So, siyempre, iiwasan natin lagi yung mga exposure sa extreme high ultraviolet, no? And the other use is the delivery of yung tinatawag natin ng particular components kung saan siya kailangan. Like for example, collagen, no? Yung mga solid lipids, nanoparticles ay inilalagay din natin sa mga cosmetics, no, or beauty products that can carry yung mga lipids sa lugar kung saan siya kailangan sa ating katawan or sa ating skin. Nanoscale titanium dioxide and zinc oxide has been used for years in sunscreen also, that will provide protection from the sun while appearing invisible on the skin. Next, Ito yung mas maraming applications ng nanotechnology. We have the electronics and information technology. So electrodes made from nanowires can enable the flat panel display to be flexible as well as thinner than the current flat panel display. So dito ngayon yung yung mga ano natin no, mga haptics na meron tayo sa mga cellphones natin na. So we use the nanolithography. Nanolithography is used for fabrication of chips. So the transistors are made of nanowires that are assembled on glass or thin films of a flexible plastic. Ayan. And also with that nanolithography, e-papers display on sunglasses and map on cards and windshields are being manufactured or able to be used now. Still under electronics and information technology, the silicon transistors in your body may be replaced by the carbon nanotube or the CMT. So ano ba yung carbon nanotube? To give you an idea, let me give you an example. Parang chicken wire, no? Na parang ginawa mo siyang tube, no? Pinagdikit mo yung dalawang ends ng surface. So ito ay parang straw, kumbaga flatten siya or bond paper tapos ginawa mo siyang parang straw or tube. So ganon, yun nga lang in nano level, no? That is carbon nanotube. Kaya ko in example yung chicken wire kasi alam niyo yung carbon kasi yung structural formula is parang di ba hexagon siya. So magkadikit-dikit na mga hexagon sa parang chicken wire ang itsura niya. Na, tapos, ano yun nga, ginawa mo. Meron siyang may single walled at saka may multi-walled na nanotube. Carbon nanotube is a molecule formed with a hollow cylinder, as I was saying, with a diameter of around nanometers, which consists of just pure carbon. Parang graphene din to, kasi yung graphene, hindi siya in a tube. Two-dimensional siya, parang ano lang, sheet of paper lang. Pero chicken wire, parang ganon. So yun. And then the advantage of using carbon nanotube is it has faster and smaller carbon that can be used and produced. So the use of carbon nanotube ay mas mabilis yung yung transmission of energy and signals na. The smaller the transistor, the faster the component. So this will also result in the computers that can also only consume less energy. So computers that have high speed, high capacity of memory, and it allows the circuit to be more accurate on the atomic level. Another one is we have the nanorods. Nanorods is an upcoming technology that is under display technique due to less consumption of electricity and less heat transmission. Ayan. So less heat emission, I mean. So size of the microprocessors are being reduced nowadays at a greater extent. Ito pa, no? So we have the Morph, no? This is a nanotechnology concept device developed by Nokia Research Center and the University of Cambridge. The Morph will be super hydrophobic, making it extremely dirt repellent, and it will be able to charge itself from the available light source using photovoltaic nanowires glass covering in its surface. So under development pa yung iba na pa, no? So marami pa, pero I will just mention some of it. In medicine, ito talaga yung medicine provides options for the new drug delivery and drug therapy. So it enables to be delivered to the precisely right location in the body and release drug doses in a predetermined schedule for optimal treatment. So mas maganda, no? Hindi na di-deliver agad yung drugs directly doon sa target na kung saan yung merong sira at hindi na aapektuhan yung non-target na cells or healthy cells. So ina-attach yung drug to a nano-sized carrier Tapos, dinadala ito sa localized disease site. Example, we have the cancer tumor. And this nano carrier will release the medicine and kill the tumor. So, ngayon, ang current treatment kasi natin ay we are more on radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Sa ganitong proseso, may mga nasisira tayong mga healthy cells. No? Next, nanomaterials can also be used to generate new types of surgical tools. Example of this, we have the nanotweezers. This is an example of the nanotweezers. They can able to grip the particles that are close to the size of a cell. So it enables the precise surgery to be performed. Hindi nasisira yung mga neighboring cells na hindi naman dapat na masira. So nowadays, patients in diabetes must take a small blood samples all the time. So many times you have times days to control their glucose level. So such procedure are uncomfortable for the patient and extremely inconvenient. So to solve this problem, the level of sugar in the body can be observed by a constant glucose monitoring using medical nanorobot. So this is an example of nanorobot attacking the disease area of a diabetic patient. Still under medicine, better imaging and diagnostic tools can help in diagnosis. So more individualized treatment is being desired, and option, and there's a higher or better therapeutic success when it is specialized and individualized. So nanotechnology is being studied for both diagnosis and treatment of atherosclerosis. Ano ba yung atherosclerosis? This is the build-up of plaque in arteries na kapag dumami na to, nahirapan ng mag-flow yung blood at napo-force yung heart mo na mag-pump at tumataas yung ating blood pressures. So in one of the technique, researchers created a nanoparticle that mimics with the body's good cholesterol. It is known as the high density lipoprotein, which can help to shrink the plaque. Ayan. So in one technique yun nagawa ito sa laboratory, yung tinatawag nating mimicry using nanoparticles of the high density lipoproteins. Pag lipo may kinalaman yan sa mga cholesterol, good cholesterol, of course. Yan. Still under medicine, the design and engineering of advanced solid nanopore materials could also allow for the development of gene sequencing technology that will enable single molecule detection at a very low cost and high speed with a minimal sample preparation and instrumentation. So, marami talaga, napakarami sa medicine. Meron pa akong mga hindi napapaps dito, pero if you're interested, there are several researches from reliable articles and sources na pwede nating mapag-aralan or basahin according to your interest. Ayan. Research in the use of nanotechnology for regenerative medicine spans several applications areas, including yung bone and neural tissue engineering. Ayan. For instance, we have the novel materials that can be engineered to mimic the crystal mineral structure of human bones, Ayan. Or use the restorative resin, This is a polymer for dental applications. Researchers are also looking for ways to complex tissues, yung kung paano ma-regrow into human body organs for transplant, There are also studying yung graphene, no, yung graphene nanoribbons para ma-repair yung spinal cord, yung mga injuries na meron tayo dito sa likod, no. And preliminary research shows that neurons grow well on that graphene surface. Undergoing pa itong mga researches na to, no. Ayan. Next, we have nanomedicines are also looking for the ways that nanotechnology can improve vaccines, including vaccine delivery without the use of needles. So, maraming, so nandun pa rin tayo ngayon sa injection. Next, transportation. Nanoscale and sensor devices may provide cost-effective continuous monitoring of the structural integrity and performance of bridges, tunnel rails, parking, and structure pavements. Ayan, so meron tayong mga nanosensors na pwedeng nag-detect agad kung may babangga sa'yo, proper alignment ng pag-parking, no? Yung mga integrity ng mga structures na dinadaanan natin, no? Ginagamitan niya ng mga nanosensors, no? Lahat ay mga auto-driving na ngayon, no? To avoid collision, adjust travel routes to avoid congestions, and improve driver's interface on board. Yung electronics, yung mga ganun. What else? Still under transportation, nanotechnology offers the promise of developing multifunctional materials that will contribute to building and maintaining lighter, no, safer, and a smarter and more efficient vehicles like aircraft, spacecraft, and ships. So, ayan, so importante yung this is a game-changing benefit that we can use of nanotechnology. No? So, yun. For example, it has been estimated that reducing the weight of commercial jets and aircraft will reduce 20% of its fuel consumption. Ayan. Ganun din sa mga spacecraft sa NASA. So, maganda yung So, what are the other tapping tools made of nanocrystalline materials such as tungsten carbide, tantalum carbide, titanium carbide are more wear and erosion resistance that last longer than their conventional counterparts. Meron na ngayong mga nanoparticles na ilalagay rin sa mga media, sa mga ganun, para maiwasan yung mga bad odors, yung mga ganun. Silver nanocrystals have been embedded also in bandages to kill bacteria and prevent infection. Meron nga yung yung mga patches na nilalagay after operations na pwedeng gamitin ng mga diabetic, no? Kasi sa mga problema kasi ng mga diabetic, yung matagal mag-heal yung wound after, for example, operations. So meron tayong mga patches na integrating some nanomaterials, may antibacterial property, tapos nakaka-promote ng mas mabilis na healing sa mga diabetic. Nanoparticle-based synthetic bone can also be possible, no? Formed by manipulating calcium and phosphate at the molecular level. So another one, aerogels, yung lightest known solid due to good insulating properties is used in spacesuits and are proposed to use in spacecraft. So napakadami talaga pong applications na pwede nating magawa using nanotechnology and nanomaterials. Meron tayong mga nanocomposite, no, na kung saan we take advantage of the different advantageous properties of the different nanoparticles and integrating them together. So that would be all so far. No, I will not add more to that. But what I have mentioned are not limited to that only. No, thank you for listening attentively. I hope that I have impart to you some of the basic knowledge about nanotechnology. So these are the references that I used for this presentation. Thank you again and stay safe.
Thank you, Dr. Yvonne. Let's give Dr. Yvonne a Virtual round of applause. Ayan. So maraming applications ang nanotechnology. So before po tayo magkaroon ng question and answer, I would like to ask Dr. Jeff Bunkin. Meron po tayong mga announcements. Dr. Jeff?
I was actually, okay, so magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Let me share my screen first. So medyo, ang dami po kasing, so we have a highly engaged crowd. Dr. Yvonne, ang dami-dami pong questions. So, but before we get,
Thank you po.
questions, ang gagawin muna po natin is we'll actually pause for a couple of minutes for announcements. So, let me share my screen. Okay. Nakikita niyo na po ba yung screen ko? Alright. So, ito pong month ng September, napakarami po nating events sa Filipino Science Hub. So, lahat po ng inyong weekends ay mapapopulate namin. And even some weekdays. So, today po, we're actually graced by Professor Yvonne Musico from Technological Institute of the Philippines. So, hopefully po, marami kayong napulot when it comes to the various applications of nanotechnology. So pagdating naman po ng September 11th, we have a career guidance talk. So we will be graced by attorney Vivian May del Pilar Malibago. So Dr. Vivian was actually trained as a chemist sa University of the Philippines. And then after that, she navigated her career by getting trained as a police officer, so nag-works as a forensic science, and then after that she transitioned to a career sa law. So naging abogado po siya. So ito para po sa mga anak ninyo na nag-iisip ano ba yung mga career paths na pwedeng nilang tahakin after nila makatapos ng undergrad degree in fundamental science like chemistry. And her talk is specifically titled as Science Life Skills, A Journey from Chemistry to Law. So, ito, diba, ang probinsyana, yan po ang ating official hashtag. Joke lang. Anyways, so after that naman po, the following Saturday, September 18th, same time, 10 in the morning in the Philippines, we will be graced by Dr. Kim Rachel Vichy. So she is a scientist. She's an applied physicist working for a technology company based in Boston, Massachusetts. So she will be delivering a talk focusing on 3D mapping of airborne LiDAR. So ito po, I think this is actually one of our very first physics career guidance talk. So what she'll do is she'll talk about her journey, her academic journey, and she'll share quite a bit about her work and her research work as an applied physicist. Pagdating naman po ng September 24, I think this is a Friday. September 24th, we have a pedagogical training course to be delivered by Professor Chris John Mejia Pastor from Philippine Normal University, and he'll talk about how to deliver virtual lectures. So sobrang napapanahon po ito ngayon kasi ang ating bagong modality ng pagtuturo ay kailangang nagde-deliver ka din ng mga kaalaman virtually. The following day naman po, this is gonna be the very first webinar from a series of courses that we will be offering in collaboration with De La Salle University Center for Instrumentation. So, ang goal po nitong webinar series na to is to introduce teachers and students to different modern analytical techniques and their applications and research. And on that Saturday, we will be joined by Mr. Chris Arguino from, again, DLSU, and he'll talk about atomic and molecular spectroscopy and their application for environmental research. So ito po, undergrad students, high school students, at mga guro, ito po yung chance ninyo na ma-introduce kayo sa mga modern techniques na ito for free. So ito po, again, is collaboration between PhilSci Hub and De La Salle University's Center for Instrumentation. And then, we will cap your month on September 30th by another pedagogical training course to be delivered by Professor Alphonse Jason Pelgone from Philippine Normal University, and he'll share with you strategies for assessing STEM lessons. So yan po, puno-puno po yan. So ito po yung pinangako namin sa inyo, buong taon po ninyo, actually hanggang 2022 na po mapupuno ang kalendaryo ninyo. And talking about the Modern Analytical Chemistry Series, and yan dun po sa right side ng ating slide, nakalagay po dyan ang ating mga installments. So on October 9th, we will be joined by Dr. Jose Esmiria Jr. from the same institute, and he'll talk about, and he'll introduce you to SEMEDS or surface analysis. So an industry perspective. So paano ba ina-apply itong analytical techniques na to? Actually, itong SEMEDS is also very relevant when it comes to characterizing nanomaterials. So gaya ng mga diniscuss ni Ms. Yvonne. On November 27th naman po, we will be graced by Dr. Virgilio Ebajo Jr. And he'll talk about NMR spectroscopy for natural products research. So NMR spectroscopy is a very powerful analytical tool for identifying chemical compounds. Lalong-lalo na po organic compounds. Ay yung natural products pa naman, yun yung laging usong research sa Pilipinas, hindi yan nawawala. So if you are interested in learning more about nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, ito po yung pagkakataon ninyo. And then December 4th naman po, sabi ko sa inyo, pupunuin namin yung kalendaryo nyo, Mr. Michael Arnante will talk about multi-species cytogenetic analysis. So ito mas biological analysis naman to. So ito po ay oportunidad ninyo. Wala po itong bayad itong series na ito. And then last but not the least, on January 15th, 2022, we will be graced by a very good friend of mine and one of the smartest people that I know of personally, by Dr. Anna Karen Lacerna. So she will talk about liquid chromatography, specifically instrumentation and its application in natural products research. So lahat po ng registration information and details ay nasa amin pong nasa aming official Facebook page, Filipino Science Hub, and also on our official website. So www.philscihub.com. Okay. So yun po yung mga announcements. But then, hindi lang po tayo tumitigil sa announcements. We also celebrate Filipino scientists who are thriving in their career. So it just so happened that as of yesterday, one of the resident members of Filipino Science Hub, Mr. Marty Mateo, a scientist based at the Institute of Plant Breeding in UP Los Baños, namakyaw po siya ng award. So there was this virtual conference hosted by the Federation of Plant Science Associations of the Philippines. So si Mr. Marty Mateo po, he won third prize sa best poster category. And then to top that, hindi po siya nakontento doon, he beat himself. Tinalo niya po ang sarili niya because he also won first prize para naman doon sa isa niyang research project. So Marty, we're very proud of you. Andito ba si Marty? Marty, are you here?
Yes.
Can we get a word from you? How does it feel to be this prolific? Baka meron ka message of encouragement and motivation para sa mga estudyante dyan at saka sa mga guro.
Thank you sa PhilSci-Hub for greeting, and siguro continue what you're passionate of kung may passion kayo and hard work sa ginagawa nyo. Yung awards will just be secondary to your passion. Ayun. Tapos, thank you to Miss Yvonne. Ang ganda ng talk. Actually, ayoko na patagalin yung speech kasi ang daming questions. So, I don't want to take a minute or two para makapag-start na tayo sa Q&A natin. Ayun. Thank you, Kuya Jeff. Thank you, PhilSci-Hub.
Okay, congratulations. Alright, punta na po tayo sa question and answer portion. Miss Yvonne, nakainom na po ba kayo ng tubig? Okay, so
Opo, hello po.
take it away while we're collecting questions.
Okay, so ayan, Q&A na tayo, no? So, meron po ditong tanong from Reynold Pedrosa. Sabi niya, ma'am, how about nanotechnology on lubrication and cooling system? So, siguro po tinatanong niya kung may applications po ba ang nanotech sa lubrication cooling system. So, do you know of anything in this industry, Ma'am Yvonne?
Yeah, when it comes to lubrication po kasi, so we integrate po yung mga nanoparticles sa mga lubricants para mas maganda, mas smooth yung kanyang so yung wearing ng, I think engineer yata, yung wearing po ng ng mga metals no ay hindi gaanong napapadali kasi kumbaga hindi gaano nasisira yung mga surfaces dahil sa sobrang liit ng mga nanoparticles na dinadagdag natin to enhance yung lubrication ng mga lubricants na meron tayo. So, maganda yung movement. At the same time, hindi lang siya sa lubricant mismo nilalagay. Doon mismo sa mga metals or kung ano mang materials that are touching to each other. No? When it comes to cooling system, so I guess it depends kung yung material nanomaterials ay will enhance like yung alam natin yung corrugative properties ng materials na kapag nag-add ka ng solute na i-increase yung kanyang tawag dito yung kanyang boiling point at saka nalolower yung freezing point yung mga anti-freeze natin yung mga ganun. So far, when it comes to cooling system, wala pa po ako masasabing specific na research na nagpakita na nag-enhance yung or napaganda yung kanyang yung nag-add ng nanoparticles or na-explore yung nanotechnology para mapaganda yung kanyang kumbaga yung performance no ng isang operation para sa isang cooling system. Sana
Ayun.
po nasagot ko yung tanong.
So actually, yun po, para mag-add lang, para ma-emphasize lang yung point ni Ms. Yvonne. So yung question about lubrication, I'm actually working for a chemical company and yan yung isa sa mga products that's being manufactured by most chemical companies. So yung meron pong mga nano materials that are being used as friction reducers. So yung friction between metals, kasi yung pong gears ng sasakyan, metals po yung bumubuo doon. So kailangan po, hindi siya nagkikiskisan else masisira ng maaga ang inyong sasakyan. So yun po or yung mga makina, anything na mechanical po. So definitely ginagamit po siya as additive. So may pag pumunta po kayo sa Google Scholar, i-search nyo po yan, marami pong studies about that. So materials as nanomaterials as friction reducers and also sila yung slow down ng wear and tear. Yun yung mga kumbaga more technical terms when it comes to that. So second question naman po Ma'am Yvonne, so siguro ito i-interpret natin. So how to identify and characterize that substances compounds can be regarded as potential source for nanomaterials development. So medyo ito hindi masyadong hindi siguro masyadong klaro yung pagkakataon nito. Meron po ba ma'am na siguro ang tanong nito is meron po bang natural sources ng nanomaterials? Natural occurring?
Yes po. Kasi I'm working with graphene-based nanomaterials or carbon-based nanomaterials. So these are much available in our nature. Like, but they are very expensive kasi yung process minsan ay mahirap. Yung graphene, pag lumili kami, 1 gramo lang o maabot na siya ng mga $100, 1 gramo lang ng graphene. So we're resorting into synthesizing graphene from available biomass. Like for example, yung mga patapon na materials, yung mga manggupit, mga basta marami sa biomass tayo makikita as a source of nanomaterials. But if you're asking for the characterization of the substances, now we have a lot of sophisticated and yung mga equipments that can be used for the characterizations. Like for example, for the components of the nanomaterials, we have the spectroscopy. Now we use X-ray photoelectric spectroscopy. We have the AFM atomic yung imaging na yung mga ganon. Meron din tayong yung tunneling, FEM, marami XRD, no? Ginagamit namin yan for characterization kasi hindi mo naman siya basta masasabi na we have successfully synthesized these materials unless ipakita mo yung kanyang surface properties, no, yung kanyang chemical components, no, and that can be only characterized using those sophisticated equipments na meron tayo. Some of them are available sa DOST, sa ADMATEL, no, in particular, and yung iba mahirap din, mahirap pa rin dito sa ating bansa. So nag-aano tayo, nag-stand off tayo ng mga, kung wala sa laboratory ninyo, merong mga schools na grant, na nakakuha ng grant sa DOST na mag-put up ng mga nanolab. Meron sa UP Diliman, meron sa friend ko sa CLSU, and meron, ang pinakamaganda yung sa DOST kasi nandun talaga yung lahat na halos na equipment na pwedeng magamit natin para mapag-aralan natin o makaracterize yung mga nanomaterials na sa DOST. At meron silang mga student rate kung gusto niyo talaga.
Okay. Next question po. Okay. What are the safety concerns to consider when handling nanomaterials?
Actually, it's just like when you're having you're practicing yung mga safety rules and also safety practices na meron tayo sa common laboratories. Yun nga lang, siyempre, iniiwasan natin dahil nanoparticles siya, no? Isa sa mga diyan ay yung dahil maliliit talaga, you're dealing with a small particles, no? May tendencies niya na pumasok sa ating katawan at sumama sa ating bloodstream at hindi natin alam kung ito ay mga poisonous or hindi. So, isa sa mga drawback ng nanotechnology or pag-aaral ng nanoparticles or nanomaterials ay yung maaaring yung ginagamit mo nanoparticles na mo sa environment or na nasama sa mga air, sa water, at sa mga pagkain or sa bloodstream, pwede siyang makaabot sa ating lungs, particularly sa alveoli, no? Pero meron na ngayon mga researchers kung paano clean naman makuha yung mga nanoparticles na nakaka-cross sa ating mga membranes, bloodstream, no? Or makapasok sa ating mga vital
Organs.
yung mga parts ng ating katawan.
Pero Ma'am Yvonne, kasi I also worked in in nanotechnology for a number of years po. After ng PhD ko, no, so as I was working in a US government laboratory and also, dito po sa aking current na trabaho. Pero gusto i-qualify lang din natin, Ma'am Yvonne, kasi baka matakot sila sa nanomaterials na parang,
Opo.
yan sa lungs, ganyan. Ito po, paliwanag lang po, essentially yung konsepto po ng nanomaterials, kung napansin niyo po yung simula ni Ms. Yvonne, yan po ay depende sa size. Ang nanomaterials po, pwede po yan ay organic, pwede po yung lipids, wala po yung metals. Meron din naman pong mga nanomaterials na inorganic materials. Actually po, ang buhangin ay nanomaterial. Meron talagang napaka-fine na particles dyan. So kung wag po kayo, kaya po, ito baka po kasi yung mga tao, ay nako, baka pumasok yan sa katawan ko. Marami pong naturally occurring nanomaterials. So kung kayo po ay pumupunta sa dagat, na i-expose po kayo sa nanoparticles. Pero ang gusto lang din po ang siguro Ma'am Yvonne, ang idadagdag ko lang po para po sa kabatiran ng lahat, baka po kasi irrationally matakot sila, is that majority of nanomaterials developed over the past siguro po mga 5 decades. Ito po mga materials na to ay mga batang material pa rin. So babago po silang na-discover. So ang challenge po kasi when it comes to new nanomaterials is hindi pa po ganun kahaba ang pag-aaral kung ano pa talaga yung health effects niyan, posibleng wala, posibleng meron. So, pero ang pinakamahalaga po whenever you are handling nanomaterials, things that you have to consider is kapag sobrang liit ng size, ang specific property po that you have to watch out for is what we call dispersibility. Kapag sinabi pong dispersibility, yung sobrang liit niya such that yun lang pong air current sa inyong laboratorio ay enough na po siya para siya ay ma-disperse sa hangin at malanghap ninyo. For example, yung pong graphene, yung kaparehas ng ginagamit nila Ma'am Yvonne, kapag yung most carbon-based nanomaterials po kasi, kapag sobrang liit ng kanilang particle size, nadadala yan madali ng hangin. So kapag po ganong klase ng materials ang gagamitin nyo, therefore sobra pong pag-iingat, gagamit po kayo ng tamang fume hood, para dyan. So, yun po yung things to consider. So, bago po kayo humawak na nanomaterials, mag-research muna po kayo. Ano po. Pero yung mga oxides, there are certain nanomaterials out there that could be fairly benign. So, ang mahalaga lang naman po is gawin niyo before kayo hahawak or before kayo, kasi more likely sa research na to gagawin, no? Lalo sa high school, magbasa-basa muna po kayo or kumonsulta kayo sa eksperto para po mag-guidean kayo. Okay po ba yun?
Okay. Salamat, Dr.
Okay.
Jeff. Okay, so
Actually, in our lab also, there are also some scientists who are studying the cytotoxicity of the graphene that we are using, no? So far naman, wala naman siyang nakikitang very compatible siya sa ating cells, so sa human cells, no? Hindi naman siya nakakasira so far. So yun lang, may ilan lang na very selective naman, pero nagkaroon na rin may mga pag-aaral sila sa kanilang pag-aaral ay meron din silang mga ginagawang measures na rin kung paano may iwasan yung kung makarating man siya sa lungs, gano'n. Pero generally, puro benefits ang nakukuha natin sa mga nano materials, no, na i-encounter so far namin. Yun lang yung masasabi.
Kung hindi kayo masyadong familiar, no, research na muna para sure tayo. Ano po? Lalo pa, ito po kasi is para lang sa mga estudyante. Kasi baka mamaya meron kayong makita ay nanomaterial to. Hindi naman kailangan matakot agad kayo or hindi rin naman kailangan you actually jump on it agad-agad. So magbasa kayo. Meron naman dyan. So siguro sabi nga ni Ma'am Yvonne, may mga groups out there who are studying. Meron mga studies ongoing when it comes to these things. So kapag merong literature available and nagsasabi na, this is actually relatively safe to handle under normal conditions, then do it. Kapag medyo kulang pa, the best way to do it is always handle it with caution. Since hindi nyo alam, don't expose yourself to something na hindi nyo alam kung ano yung magiging epekto sa inyo. So just like any any wise scientist, like ganoon. Wag tayong pabigla-bigla. Siguro ito yung pangalawa dito is greeting. Ito ay from Ma'am Raquel Bernal who's one of the most avid supporters of our organization. So sabi ni Ma'am Raquel Bernal, wow, nanotechnology in protecting our environment. So yan, Ma'am, na-appreciate.
Thank you po. Ayan. Oo, tama po kayo.
At siguro ito, Ate Dindy, next question.
Okay, ayan. So, tanong po ulit kay Mr. Reynald Pedrosa. Sabi niya, ma'am, sa nuclear waste, magagamit po ba ang nanotech?
Yes po. Yung karamihan po kasi natin na mga nuclear waste po natin, like for example, mga radioactive materials can be mitigated or pwedeng maalis sa environment by ion exchange or yung irreversible na yung parang i-attract mo ba ng yung radioactive waste ng ions, no? So yun yung kalimitan ginagamit na that creates that ions, the toxic radioactive waste that creates that ions can be mitigated or remediated by attracting that ions, no? Yung iba pwedeng gumagamit ng mga common na adsorbent katulad ng mga zeolite na pinag-aaralan nila, yung mga clay, no? Para pinag-aaralan pa lang para makuha yung mga radioactive waste na ions sa wastewater at sa iba pang medium, no? Meron ng mga initiative po na ginagamit yung nano materials or nanotech para sa pag-remediate po ng ating mga nuclear waste. Thank you po.
Ayan. Okay, next. Okay, ito from Richard Mangay. So how can nanotech be used and preserved? Ito, parang medyo nasagot na to, no? Okay. Sige po. Pasensya na kayo, Sir Richard. Medyo naunahan po kayo ng isa. A second one is from Irene Bargo. Sabi niya, was there a mask embedded with nanoparticles that can be washed and reused?
Di ba parang common na sa atin yung yung silver ba yung in the market right today, silver mask? na ginagamit dito sa Pilipinas. But yes, i-embed mo lang yung nanoparticles. Hindi siya lang washable, kundi maski hindi mo siya iwash, basta ma-expose siya sa sun, automatic na ma-activate yung kanyang antimicrobial property. Ano ba yung pwede? We have silver nanoparticles, pwedeng titanium oxide, sasamahan mo pa siya ng graphene, tapos itong mga to ay mga compounds or mga elements or mga nanoparticles na kapag natatamaan ng sikat ng araw ay na-activate yung kanilang power para magkaroon ng tinatawag na photocatalytic activity na kung saan nagiging antimicrobial yung material kung saan sila naka-embed, no? Mai-enhance pa ito kapag dadagdagan mo siya ng katulad ng mga carbon-based nanomaterials para sa antimicrobial properties din at sa pag-attract ng mga ibang pollutants, no, na mag-a-adhere lang doon sa surface, no? So hindi lang washable, pwedeng hindi na siya i-wash, no? At naiiwasan din natin yung environmental effect sa wastewater, no? Bakit? Kasi di ba every time na maglalaba tayo, nagdadagdag tayo ng mga surfactants sa environment, sabon, no? So kung kung tolerable naman yung dumi niya, pwedeng pagpag mo lang, basta naka-embed yung mga nanoparticles na yon na mayroong photocatalytic activity at mayroong antimicrobial properties, okay na lang na-expose mo siya sa sunlight, na-activate ng UV from sunlight. I hope that I have answered your question.
Okay. Ate?
Ayan. Okay. So, moving on po from Gregorio Simangan, what are the tests that need to be performed to determine whether a nanoparticle has been synthesized? So, identification siguro ng nanoparticle if present siya sa isang material. So,
yes, importante po na kapag nagsisynthesize kayo, unang-unang iti-test nyo ay kung successfully na-dope mo ba or na-integrate mo or na-embed mo ba yung nanoparticles doon sa substrate niya or sa for example sa textile or kung saan mo ba gusto siyang ilagay. So may mga test po tayo, no? Meron po tayo kalimitan ginagamit po namin sa aming laboratory to test whether we have we are successful in synthesizing yung X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy. Ito po ay pinapakita dito yung mga functional groups na present doon sa na-synthesize yung materials. So, ito ay gumagamit ng bonding energies, no, na may corresponding bonding energies sa bawat functional groups para masabi mo na itong functional group ay present. So, meron siyang library of mga bonding energies na nagko-correspond sa bawat functional group. So for example, 700 to 800 nanometer wavelength, no? Ito ay nagko-correspond sa carbon, double bond carbon. Hindi yun yung actual. Pero kunyari ganun lang, no? May mga ganun. Pangalawa, gumagamit din kami para i-characterize namin yung surface ng scanning electron microscopy. Ayan. Pwede rin gumamit po kayo ng X-ray, refractive diffraction, parang ganun. Basta meron siyang kinalaman sa mga pag-view ng surface, no, at chemical components in a nano level. Gumagamit din po so meron tayong XPS, SEM, pwede rin pong TEM, tunneling electron microscope, AFM, no. Meron din tayong FTIR, no, or your transfer infrared spectroscopy. Marami po, no. Yung mga binanggit ko, available po yan sa DOST, yung mga ganong test, no. Ano pa ba? So far, chemically yon. Pero when it comes to performance, it depends kung anong gusto mo na performance ang iti-test mo. For example, yung electrical conductivity, yung kanyang photocatalytic activity. So may mga corresponding equipments pa tayo na ginagamit, antimicrobial properties, mga ganun. So depende. Pagdating sa performance, it depends sa applications naman po.
Okay. Second question naman, it comes from Jeremiah Job Moises. Ito, medyo napapanahon ito at kaya ko pinik to kasi this is an opportunity for us to address conspiracy theories. Naku po, yan. Ito, can nanotechnology be used to change the human DNA structure? And then yung second question po, what are the factors that we can consider in nanotechnology in making vaccines, particularly in this time of the pandemic? So, siguro po yung unang tanong, Ma'am Yvonne, pwede po bang baguhin ng what you call this, ng nanotechnology or nanomaterials ang structure ng DNA?
Hindi po ako medical expert. Pero di po ba sa presentation ko po kung saan yung may mga tayo technology na pwedeng ilipat yung isang atom dun sa isang atom. May ganun, pwedeng yung DNA ay baguhin. Not sure lang in actual setting kung ito na ay ginagamit, But I can recall a movie na kung saan binabago nila dinire-arrange nila yung movie, yung Hello Man. Binabago nila yung structure ng DNA, yung para maging invisible, But it is possible, yes. Kasi may mga equipment naman po tayo na pwedeng yung scanning tunneling microscope. Alam niyo ba, isa sa pwede niyang gawin ay pwede niyang ilipat using the scanning tunneling microscope yung isang nanoparticle, or kasi DNA is sa mga nanoparticle atom din yan, yung isang particle sa isang pwesto, nililipat niya. So isa yun sa pwedeng gawin na makikita natin in nano level habang ginagawa yung isang, o sinisynthesize natin yung isang material. So,
siguro po,
the aid of the sophisticated equipment, pwede sigurong gawin.
Pero clarify natin yun, Mama, kasi baka i-take nila yun na, okay, mababago ng nanotechnology ang structure ng DNA.
Yes.
Medyo ko-qualify ko lang po iyon. So essentially po, ang gusto...
wala pa naman talagang ganun na nababago.
Kasi, if you imagine yung structure po ng DNA ninyo, kapag babaguhin po, first and foremost po, kasi may nababasa rin ako mga comments sa YouTube na para medyo conspiracy theories na yung dating. So, first and foremost po, yun pong mga kumakalat na balita na yung nanotechnology ay gagamitin para pag ilalagay sa bakuna, mababago yung takbo ng pag-iisip mo, ganyan-ganyan.
Yes, mga nanobots.
Wala pa pong ganyan technology, I am telling you. As a practitioner of nanotechnology, wala pa pong ganyan. Ang dami pa pong challenges when it comes to synthetic strategies. Limitado po ang kakayahan ng mga tao. Medyo, wag tanggalin na po natin yon. Siguro po yung nabasa nyo, nanotechnology in vaccine. Kung magbabasa po talaga kayo ng pag-aaral from the World Health Organization, from CDC, ang nakalagay po dyan na nanotechnology sa bakuna, sa vaccine, is what we call yung liposome. So ito po yung lipid materials po ito na ang size ay pang nanoparticle. Ang ginagawa po niyan, encapsulation. Yun pong mRNA nandun po sa loob nun para po ma-deliver doon sa target area at hindi po ma-decompose yung inyong RNA. Yun po ang function ng nanotechnology sa COVID vaccine. Hindi po yan lalagyan kayo ng microchip. Wala pong ganoon. Wala pa pong ganoong technology na nag-i-exist to the best of my abilities. And ako, I've had a couple of fairly advanced experience when it comes to nanomaterial synthesis. So kaya medyo wag po natin yung ibahagi kasi medyo unfounded po yung mga ganyang
baseless, kumbaga. Baseless, no?
Opo. So
nagiging skeptic tuloy yung iba magpabakuna.
At ang resulta po niyan, ang mga tao po ay nadi-discourage kasi sila po ay may nakukuhang misinformation. So, yun po. To the best of our abilities po, I'm a practicing scientist and we monitor, activities in this area. Medyo napakalayo pa po sa realidad. Siguro po 100 taon mula ngayon. Baka po ganun na talaga ka-advance. Pero sa ngayon po, medyo hindi pa po yan napatutunayan. Okay.
Ayan, so may nag-comment sa Zoom that thank you daw for clarifying it to them kasi it really matters to them. So.
Opo, kasi isipin niyo po, yung lipid molecule, taba, yun po yung mga molecules na bumubuo sa taba na nag-i-exist po yan sa katawan ng tao. Yung same molecules po were used, sila lang po ay synthesize in such a way, kumbaga, pag umuulan po, di ba, pag umuulan at maganda ang damit mo, ayaw mong mabasa. Kumbaga yung damit, ang analogy, yun yung RNA. Gusto mo makapasok ka sa opisina na hindi nababasa ang damit mo. Anong gagamitin mo pag umuulan? Gagamit ka ng payong, gagamit ka ng kapote. Yun po yung role ng nanotechnology doon. Ayan, pinanggigil niyo ako. Joke lang.
Hindi, ayan.
Ayan.
Thank you
So,
sa inyong information. No?
Ayan, so Dr. Jeffrey, medyo marami po tayong tanong, ano? So siguro is
we can entertain
just a few more. Okay.
Natin sakto ng 12 noon para hindi natin maano.
Okay, filter out na.
Ang kanilang tanghalian.
Ayan. Okay, so mula kay Mr. Jason Alcano. Good morning po. May I ask po, what are some drawbacks of nanotechnology, especially their fate in environment and biological systems, and how are these addressed po? Thanks. Smiley face. Ayan.
So far pa nakikita ko, siguro dahil nga mas tinitingnan ko yung benefits na makukuha sa application ng nanotechnology. Yung mga sinasabi ko ngayon, yung kanina na sinabi ko, yung maaaring yung mga nanoparticles na hindi kanais-nais, hindi naman lahat ng nanoparticles or nanomaterials ay may masamang dulot sa katawan ng tao. Yun lang kapag nag-penetrate sa lungs, sa ganun. Pero yun nga, meron na rin mga pag-aaral kung paano sila masusolusyonan. Sa environment, ganun din. Parang pag napasama siya sa iba't ibang streams, no? Wastewater, water, at saka sa air. At hindi siya magandang klase ng nanoparticles na pwede maka-affect sa health. Yun lang yung magiging disadvantage nun. Pero yun nga, so far, sa aming mga pag-aaral ng researchers about nanotechnology and nanomaterials, so far, wala naman kami nakikitang masama, no? Meron siguro, pero comparable sa wala.
Siguro
kailangan benefits na makukuha natin.
Siguro yung kasi nga, going back yung sa point na binanggit ko kanina, most of these materials are fairly young materials. So for example, yung graphene, it's only na-discover siya siguro siguro more or less 20 years ago. So
yes,
to give you that time period, maraming clinical studies, lalo na for example kapag chronic yung effect, na matagal bago mag-manifest yung effect. So it really takes time. So gaya nga na sinabi namin ni Ma'am Yvonne kanina, if you are intending to handle nanoparticles or nanomaterials, if you're not really that sure of yung cytotoxicity, just handle it with care. Just like how you're handling any other type of chemicals. Ganoon naman yun. So, pero I think, sinabi nga na Miss Yvonne, meron namang mga nag-aaral kung paano pa talaga yung effect niya. So actually, Jason Alcano is our intern in PhilSci po. So he's a chemistry major from Bukidnon. So, ayan, magaling na bata po yan. Thanks for your question, Jason. All right. Next question from Jonel Rapada. What are the advantages and disadvantages of nanotechnology in our daily life? So parang natakal na rin po ito to a certain extent. No? So move on na tayo sa kasunod. How can nanotechnology be of to construct material? Siguro to make construct. Alright, Ma'am Yvonne, application po ng nanotechnology sa construction materials.
Na-mention ka na ata sa kanina yung sa transportation at sa construction kasi kasama sa, ako akala ko na-commute po ako. So, meron tayong mga nanoscale sensors at mga devices that can provide cost-effective monitoring of the integrity of the structures natin, mga performance ng mga bridges, mga tunnels. So we integrate nanoscale sensors, and also devices like yung mga rails, parking structures, pavements, and others. So mga nanosensors po yung mga ginagamit yan. Katulad ng yung simple lang po na mga detection kung merong nakapark, those are some of just applications ng mga sensors. Under development pa rin po, yung mga kung paano ma-improve yung strength ng isang construction materials using nano materials din, in a nano level. So yung mga ganun po, marami pa po. There are still, yung mga sinasabi, the big thing that will be happening is in a small level now. Marami pa in the future. So abangan po natin, maraming mga researchers pa po na ganun. So far yun pa po lang po ang maaari kong masabi.
And then next, ma'am, from John Carlo Garcia. So can nanotechnology protect cars from scratches?
Siguro ito yung sa mga nanopaints, sa mga structural, tapos yung mga ceramic coatings, na nila. Sa yung yung protect for the surface coating, siguro yung mas yung mga paints na ginagamit ay mas hindi siya mas daling scratch kumpara, but not necessarily na hindi talaga ma-scratch. Kung sobra naman ng sobra namang malakas na yung impact ng mo ng pagkatangga mo or pag yung masyado matulis na yung pinagdaanan. Pero compare doon sa yung mga normal coatings hindi masyadong na-scratch agad dahil yung kanyang bonding kumbaga dun sa surface is mas enhanced kumpara sa conventional na coating. Yun lang ang masasabi ko. Okay. Pero not necessarily na hindi talaga may scratch, no? Okay. Hindi pwedeng ganun.
Alright, next question po, ma'am, from Marites Due. Good morning. Are the innovations of nanotechnology in medicine already available or are they already being used? So naka-commercialize na po ba, ma'am, yung nanotechnology for medicine?
Yes po, ginagamit na po yan lalo na sa ibang bansa yung mga nanoteasers, yung mga maraming applications na po. Sa ating bansa, medyo hindi ko masasabi dito sa ating bansa na gano'n na tayo ka-advanced kumpara. Even sa China, ma-advanced sila, may mga ginagamit na silang smart robots para sa mga detection ng mga parang capsule na isinasama nila sa gamot para ma-detect kung saan yung may part ng katawan yung may problema, yung mga ganun. Yeah, na po sila, they are already available and there are still na on the process of studying.
Okay. Next is from Ma'am Teresa Judiel Silang. So, nanotechnology is growing. So, and raising what should be the more advantage in the future.
You can never tell, but actually marami na talaga ngayong scientists that into nanotechnology research. Marami na po yung nasa nano robots na nga tayo or nanobots na.
Okay. So next po is from Sir Marlo Fabia. So his question says, is there known reuse and recycle technology applicable for nano-based products?
Sir, nasa industry. Ako, wala, mayroong mga nagre-research about that, pero so far ako, sa aking kaalaman, wala akong alam na, is there no reuse and recycle technology? Okay. Sa mga sa IT, sila po yung nakakaalam ng pag-recycle and reuse meron silang mga buyback operation at sila po nakakaalam ng kung paano nila nire-recycle at nire-reuse yung mga electronic waste. No? Nandun po kasi sa integrated circuit yung mga nanoparticles na mga recyclable, no, sa information technology and sa computers. The rest, I don't know sa industry so far. Sa practice niyo po, sir. Yeah.
Recycling technologies. Ako medyo po.
Recycling technology.
Actually, I think for the most part, medyo mahirap po kasi talaga ito. So I'm not also familiar with any recycling technology.
Yes po.
Kasi you're dealing with materials na napakaliliit. So yun po. So siguro po, yung pag-recover ng components. So for example, if you're working with a precious metal nanoparticle, say platinum or gold or ganyan. So you will really have to recover yung metals na yun kasi napakamahal po nun. Pero whether the recovery will just, bring you back yung native nanoparticle, medyo hindi po ako aware doon. So baka po pwede mong i-recover yung component and then gawin mo uling nanoparticle. So baka po ganun yung ginagawa nila. Kasi hindi po siya ganun ka-straightforward. So there's a lot of chemistry considerations po that need to be factored in when you talk about recycling. Ano po, medyo napaka-broad ng term. Ito pong second question from Jansel Del Rod. It's about, how is the immune system fooled into not attacking the nanoparticles introduced into the body? Because you mentioned about these nanoparticles being used to target specific cells in the body for treating diseases. So, ayun po. So, siguro ang tanong nito, Ma'am Yvonne, is, di ba parang kung nag-introduce ka ng, for example, like
foreign bodies.
Lipids. For example, lipids, no? Bakit po siya hindi inaatake ng immune system?
So, yung mga ginagamit po natin na na mga nanoparticles or nanostructured materials na inaano sa ating body is nagmimimic siya sa chemistry ng ating mga so nabasa ko, no, nagmimimic siya sa chemistry ng ating mga chemicals sa ating katawan. Kaya siguro hindi siya na-identified as foreign bodies ng ating immune system. Ayun.
At kaya nga po, yun nga po, maganda yung sagot ni Ma'am Yvonne, no? Kasi lipids, it's a biomolecule. Nasa katawan po, nasa cells po natin yan. So, kaya po siya hindi, di ba, sa pagkakaintindi ko po, ang atin namang immune system usually, ang i-atake niya are systems that are foreign to the body. Ano po? So, since mga lipid molecules naman po yan, baka ganun ang ginawa ng ating mga vaccine experts na yung bio-nanomaterial na ginagamit nila para sa vaccine ay compatible sa ating cell environments. Baka ganoon po. Ayun. So, hindi po kami...
Una pong tinitingnan, sorry po. So, una pong tinitingnan po talaga sa mga ganyong mga yung i-inject sa katawan natin na nagagamitin is biocompatibility. Unang pinag-aaralan yan bago sa katawan natin, ipapasukin sa katawan natin. Salamat po.
Alright. Meron pa ba? I think that's mostly it. Meron po ba tayo sa gusto mo live?
Sir Jeff, ito may isa lang akong tanong na gustong sabihin. I think this will be helpful for our younger students. Sabi niya, if I want to specialize in nanotechnology, what program or courses should I take? Ayan, Ma'am Yvonne.
Wala siyang, it's a very broad science. No? It touches about chemistry, physics, engineering, biology. Nakita naman natin, napaka-broad yung applications. So sa akin, ang background ko, chemical engineering. Pero maraming applications din po sa electronics. No? Pwede din sa chemistry, pwede sa biology. So basta sa strand po siya ng technology, engineering, and mathematics. So you have a choice kung 40 mo yung tungkol sa environment, so you have the environmental engineering. Pero environmental engineering, malawak pa rin yan eh. Ito rin ay nagmi-meet sila sa yung mga, kumbaga sa Venn diagram sila, no? Nandun pa rin yung physics, biology, and then we also have the chemistry. Basta siya, no, wala siyang specific na field of science and engineering na pwedeng i-apply. Basta within the strand of STEM. Kasi nga hindi ata STEM eh. So kung ano yung hilig mo, go for it. No? For example, hilig ka sa engineering and chemistry, chemical engineering, no? Bioengineering, yung gano'n. Or biology lang, chemistry, no? Go for it, no? Kung yun yung hilig mo. Nandun din yung nanotechnology. Hindi mawawala yan.
Ayun. Okay. So Ma'am Yvonne, napakarami pong tanong. As in, siguro po hindi po tayo nangalahati. So, this very well,
na po.
how engaged ang atin pong mga audience members ngayon. So, maraming salamat po sa inyo na nag-participate dito sa talk na ito at nagbato ng inyong mga katanungan. Ma'am Yvonne, is there a way po, if they have questions about nanotechnology, lalong-lalo na po ang ating mga estudyante, is there a way po to contact you if gusto nilang magtanong ganun, about nanotechnology, about it as a potential focus kapag sila ay nag-research na?
Yes, so you can reach me through email ng corporate email at saka yung personal email. So, isulat ko na lang po dito sa group chat, no? And
by the way, Yvonne, congratulations because you have about 400 live participants for today. So, talaga pong ang ating mga
thanks for coming po.
Students and teachers are highly interested in the area of nanotechnology. So, here's hoping din po from us from PhilSci Hub na kumbaga nagkaroon po kayo ng much better understanding kumbaga kung ano ba talaga ang nanotechnology and sabi nga ni Ma'am Yvonne sa title, some of its applications. And so, Ate Dindi, we have something to present.
Yes, I think Mr. JP Onya will do the honors.
Yeah. JP, Dr. JP Onya, who's dialing in.
Okay. Bigla na lang ako sumulpot. So, okay, in behalf po of the PhilSci Hub team and everyone in the Zoom meeting and everyone watching on YouTube Live, we would like to present this certificate of appreciation to Professor Yvonne Musico of the Technological Institute of the Philippines for delivering the webinar Nanotechnology and Some of Its Applications, organized by the Filipino Science Hub and held by a Zoom and YouTube Live on this 4th day of September 2021, given today, 4th day of September 2021, signed Dr. Jeffrey Bungkin, CEO and founder of PhilSci Hub, and yours truly, Vice President of Filipino Science Hub. So maraming salamat po, Ma'am Yvonne, and I hope marami pong napulot ang ating mga audience sa inyong discussion for this morning.
Ayun. So, Ma'am Yvonne,
thank you po.
Ma'am Yvonne, meron ba kayong message sa mga guro at sa mga estudyante po na interesado po sa area ng nanotechnology? Baka po meron kayong words of encouragement.
Okay. Una po, magpapasalamat po ako for inviting me here and for the overwhelming attendance ng mga students and teachers po sa STEM at hindi lang po sa STEM, maski sa hindi STEM strand na. Sa mga teacher po at interesado at saka estudyante na yung heart nila ay medyo nahuhulog sa nanotechnology, no? Wag po kayong matakot na mag-explore at magtanong. Kung meron po kayong katanungan na pwede po akong makatulong sa inyo, sinulat ko naman po dito kung ano po yung address. Active din po ako sa Facebook pero may nangyari po kasi security issue kaya naging personal na po yung aking Facebook. Pero yung iba naman nagpapadala rin ng message sa akin sa Facebook. So yun lang po talaga yung dalawang email address po yung kung saan reachable niyo po ako. It's my pleasure to be here and to talk in front of people virtually, no? I'm so overwhelmed talaga. Masaya po ako sa naging responses ng bawat isa sa atin. So, mag-ingat pa po tayo, no? Nandito pa po yung COVID, no?
Sa panahon po, itong topic na to. Kasi ito, kumbaga yung nangyayari ngayon sa pandemic with vaccination, ang dami po talaga kasi mga teorya na na-associate sa nanotechnology in such a way na nagkakaroon po ng hindi magandang reputasyon yung area. So siguro po yung maganda pong na-share sa atin ni Ma'am Yvonne is the fact na nanotechnology and nanomaterials are ubiquitous. Nasa paligid lang po natin yan. Yung iba po dyan ay naturally occurring. Yung iba po dyan ay binubuo po o dinidiscover at tinutuklas ng mga scientists kaparehas ni Ma'am Yvonne para po sa mga applications na magbe-benefit ang ating lipunan. So, yun po. So, hopefully po, kumbaga na-address namin yung ilan sa inyong mga concerns when it comes to nanotechnology. So, muli po, maraming salamat po sa pagsama sa amin, Ate Dindy.
Yan, salamat po sa lahat. Next week po, don't forget, no, meron po ulit tayong webinar, ang probinsyana. Ayan. Thank you.
Ito po yung katapat ni Cardo.
Ayan. Thank you so much, Miss Yvonne, Dr. Yvonne.
My pleasure po.
And then, Ma'am Yvonne, meron po tayong debriefing. So, may sinend po kami, may separate session po tayo after nito. And then, so, kumbaga, by the way po, yun pong form para sa inyong attendance at sa pag-request ng certificate of participation ay pinost na po ni Sir JP.
Yep.
Ayun.
So I hope everybody saw the link.
Apo. So, yun po, nasa Zoom chat box po yan, nasa YouTube live chat box po. And then, after po nito, kapag natapos po yung ating streaming, ilalagay po namin yan dun sa description box ng video. So, kung balikan nyo lang po yung video. Ayun. Muli, maraming salamat po. Oy, saktong-saktong matatapos na. So, enjoy nyo po ang inyong tanghalian and we actually hope to see you again. Ang dami pa po nating naghihintay na events. So we still have about like 6 or 7 of them this month. So mag-ingat po kayo palagi and kita-kits po ulit. Maraming salamat po. Alright. Now, Yvonne, see you po dun sa kabila.